be discussing the symptoms of Anisthita Bhajan Kriya. So what was the first one which we discussed? What was the first one which we discussed in Anisthita Bhajan Kriya? Sakalena Mahata. First was Sam. Second was Dhanantara. Third was Vikalpa. And fourth is Vishaya. So we discussed, as Krishna Thakur says, that they go in a successive order. So initially a person has a artificial enthusiasm, which is not based on the scriptures and which is not based on the devotion, but it is more based on emotions or his mental situation. And because of that temporary utsaha, it does not last long, and then soon he faces Ghanatara. And if he gets too much affected by Ghanatara, then Vikalpa happens, where he becomes undecisive about taking any decision, especially in relation to taking more commitment in Krishna's service. And then fourth one is Vishad Sangaraha. The moment he goes more undecisive, he is enchanted by the Vishad Sangaras. He is attracted by the Vishayas, the material. He is saying, Vishya Vishtachitanam Vishnu Avesa Pudratah Paruni Dikakam Vastu Vrijan Endrim King Apumya. When his heart is absorbed in materialism, is far from obtaining devotion to Vishnu. Can a man by going east obtain something which is in the west? Understanding that material enjoyment is forcibly carrying him away and impairing his steadiness in serving Krishna, the devotee resolves to renounce his addictions and take shelter of the holy name. So Vishaya Sangara means his heart is absorbed in materialism. So being absorbed in materialism is compared to going to east. Then practicing spiritual life is compared to going to east, west. So how someone who is trying to go to east can reach to west? Not possible. So basically he is saying Krishna consciousness and sense gratification goes together. If someone who is more absorbed, more affected, more attracted by materialism, and that much he will not have devotion for the Lord, that much he will have a difficulty to cultivate devotion for the Lord. And a devotee who is very serious, he knows that this material enjoyment is taking me away and is breaking my steadiness in serving Krishna. Let me renounce these addictions and take shelter of the holy name. So you will find that there are two qualities which time and again are emphasized in the scriptures, which are in relation to these two. That is Dhanataral and Vishaya Sangaraha. So in relation to Dhanataral, one quality which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, which is a repeated theme, is a theme of equanimity. Happiness, distress, cold, hot, a devotee has to learn how I remain not disturbed by the temporary situations. And then in relation to Vishaya Sangara, the quality mentioned is that somehow other devotee should be satisfied by the material situation which is arranged by the God. A devotee should not hanker for too many things. Even in the 11th canto, when Nimi Maharaj asked the question, how one can cross over the material existence? So that time also, after saying that Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta, that one has to take shelter of the spiritual master. And then in 11.3.24, he describes certain qualities which a disciple should cultivate in order to properly serve the spiritual master. And in this, one of the qualities is equanimity. And several disciples explain about this. So here it is mentioned. Samatvattam Dvandva Sandeyo. This material world is a place of duality. And that is why a person has to train himself to not get affected and disturbed by dualities. And that's why Krishna, even after explaining about soul to Arjuna, is explaining Matrispasya Kaunteya Sitosno Sukdugdaha Agama Apaino Anityas Tam Titiksha Bhartaha. So Krishna is saying the touch with the sense objects in the material world will have a dual aspect. Sometimes will be glorified, sometimes will be criticized. Sometimes something you do, you get success. Sometimes something you do brings failure. Sometimes you get a very nice positive thoughts. You feel very happy about certain thing. Sometimes you feel very unhappy about certain thing. Sometimes you will get people who will have good friendship with you. You can trust them. Sometimes you get people who will cheat you. So this material world is a place where there is a dual existence. Sometimes same situation which you are happy today may bring misery tomorrow. So you can't say in the material world what is a happy situation, what is a miserable situation. So that's why devotee does not become too disturbed. Sometimes you find a father is too much encouraging his son, Beta, you should go to America, work very hard, take a good job, and go to America, do something big. And the child also gets inspired by the father. And then he works very hard and goes to America, and father becomes so happy, he distributes troops everywhere that my son has gone to America, Silicon Valley. And then after 1 year, father is calling, Beta, वापस कब आओगे? And Beta is saying, Papa, अब नहीं आएंगे. अब हम भौतिकवाद की चरम सीमा पे पहुंच चुके हैं. Same father later on cries, hi, my son is not coming back. Sometimes he dies without seeing his son. There are cases like this. Same father who at one time was happy because his son went to America. Same father later on will cry that I lost my son. I lost my son. Sometimes same parents will say, Beta, sadi kar, sadi kar, sadi. And then tomorrow if a wife comes and wife tells the husband that you have to choose between me and parents. Then husband naturally chooses who? Wife. Same parents will cry, hi, किस टाइम से शादी करा दिया. ये तो पूरे हमारे घर को खा गई. People speak like this. They were the only people who were dancing in front. हमारे बेटे की शादी हो गई. And there will be the same people who will be crying. Right? So that is why चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य महाप्रभु से यही मंद यही भाला सब मनोभ्रम. ये अच्छा है ये बुरा है ये सब मन का भ्रम है. जिसको आप अच्छा बोल रहे हो वो बुरा हो सकता है, जिसको आप बुरा बोल रहे हो वो अच्छा हो सकता है, कुछ कह नहीं सकते बहुत से. So that is why a devotee is not affected by the dualities of this world. When happiness comes, devotee increases his service to Krishna. When distress comes, devotee increases his smaranam of the Lord, his remembrance of the Lord. So neither he is affected by happiness or distress. He sees how I can come to realization. When there are happy situations, when there are resources, when there is success, then he uses that all to increase his service to Krishna. When there is a distress, when there is unhappiness, he increases his remembrance of the Lord. Even among the two, a devotee wants to have a situation where misery comes because there he can remember Krishna. He can be more Krishna consciousness. And a devotee is not affected by this. So we see being a dual place in the material world. So it is quite natural for a person to get affected by Dhanantara. Sometimes your mind will be happy, sometimes mind will not be happy. Sometimes things are good, sometimes things are not good. Sometimes everything is working for you, sometimes nothing is working for you. Sometimes your health is very good and sometimes your health is not so good. So many parameters, dual aspects, they will come. If you get too much haunted by them and affected by them, then it will bring too much dhantaral in our devotional practices. So devotee, no matter what happens materially, does not allow him to get affected spiritually. Because spiritual life is at level of soul. It is uninterrupted. Ahetuki apretata. No material situation can become an obstacle in practicing spiritual life. That is the nature of bhakti. In fact, if a devotee is suppose ill And still he's trying to chant holiness to the Lord. He's making much more progress than being in a normal condition. That is the beauty of bhakti. In all situations, devotee can practice his spiritual life. So he's not affected by the dvandas of the material world. Whatever happens, he sees how in this situation I can best serve Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says that devotee should not have utopian idea of the material world. Utopian idea means everything is good, everything will happen good. This material world is a place where so many uncertainties are there, so many unexpected things may happen. Tomorrow you are very healthy, and day after tomorrow you may come to know that you have a third stage of cancer. So you cannot have an idealistic idea about the material world. You cannot have utopian idea about the material world. Material world is like that. Sometimes the person to whom you love the most, he may cheat you the most. Sometimes the place where you invested so much money to build something and then that money is gone. So you can't say in the material world. So why such aspect of the material world is revealed in the scriptures? So that we don't have hope in the material world. We should not have hope in the material world. Why? Because it is a dwell place. But we should always have hope in Krishna, because Krishna will never cheat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, Tumhare loite ami havim avatar. For you I have come. And there is no better well-wisher than me for you. So we see that we should have hope in Krishna, not in the material world. And that is the reason we see Srila Prabhupada would never become disturbed. Sometimes cases would come where one of his disciples has sold the ISKCON temple only. And somebody would come and report to Prabhupada, Swami ji, वो ISKCON बेच के चला गया. Prabhupada disturb नहीं होता. हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण. ऐसा क्या है ना, भिक्षा लेने के बाद 16 माला करने के बाद में इतना गंदा काम कैसे कर सकता है. Correct. But Prabhupada knows that the material world is a very complex place. All kinds of people will come, all kinds of situations will happen. So we can't have a idealistic approach in the material world. Sometimes devotees may become Vishnu. प्रभु जी यहाँ पर हमने देखा, उन्होंने ऐसा बोला, उन्होंने ऐसा किया. तो ये natural है material world में. We get to see all kinds of shades in the material world. So we should not get affected, and our approach should be to see what is good in the material world. If you want to see what is bad in the material world, then you will find bad everywhere. That's how the material world is. So we try to see good, and we try to see how I can use what I have to improve myself, to purify myself. Many times materialists, they have idea to make this material world a better place. But that our scriptures, they don't entertain this idea. Because you can't make material world a better place. Bhakti Thakur says, no matter how much you do, you cannot make a toilet a place where you can stay. Toilet is toilet. You may put a coronel, you may put everything. But then you have to do your business and come out. So same way, material world is not a place to stay here. That's why material world is not a place which can be improved. This is a place where you have to do our best and come out as quick as possible. Like this. So when a devotee have this understanding of the material world, then they don't get too affected by that so many wrong things are happening. I have to make everything right. If this could have happened, if this could have happened, if this could have happened, things would have improved. So devotee does not consume his consciousness in all this. Whatever is available, he tries his best to increase his Krishna consciousness. And he tolerates these dualities by because they have this nature, they come and then they will go. They are temporary in nature. One time there was a king and he told his ministers that can you bring me a gift? And that gift should be that if I'm unhappy, I should become happy by seeing that gift. And if I'm happy, I should become unhappy by seeing that gift. Then one minister gave him a ring, and in that ring it was written that sell to Hare Krishna. Am I audible to devotees?
Yes, Praj.
Hare Krishna, Raghu. Sound is
Yes,
coming?
Praj. Now it's audible, Praj.
Okay. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so I was telling this that Krishna is saying, knowing the temporary aspect of duality in the material world, you learn the principle of tolerance. There is duality which you cannot avoid, and you should have a realistic understanding of the material world that there is a duality. Don't have idealistic understanding. Sometimes the same person whom you love may become your enemy. That is how the dual aspect of the material world functions. Sometimes you find people they get into relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then same girlfriend causes problem for this boyfriend because there is a dual aspect. But what is the duty of the dual aspect is agama apainam. So Krishna is saying, knowing the temporary aspect of duality in the material world, you learn the principle of tan tidiksha bharataha. So in relation to duality, what is the only way to live in the material world? The principle of tolerance. If you say, I will set right the duality, I will talk to her and I will convince her that there was a misunderstanding, miscommunication, and then relationship will be proper. Does it happen? No. Miscommunication increases more, confusion increases more. Like that. So you can do your best, but you have to know that duality you cannot do much. And then only way for a devotee to live in this dual material world is knowing that it is temporary and knowing what solution exists in relation to me. That is the principle of tolerance. When Socrates was there with his friend, so the wife was very angry and she was shouting, तुम घर में बैठे रहते हो, नौकरी नहीं करते हो, पैसे नहीं कमाते हो, बाकियों को देखो कहाँ कहाँ जाते हैं, क्या क्या कमाते हैं, क्या क्या लाते हैं, तुम कुछ नहीं करते। हरे कृष्ण हरे राम लगा रखा है। सॉक्रेट चुपचाप अपने फ्रेंड के साथ में बात कर रहे थे। फिर कुछ समय के बाद में सॉक्रेट ने फ्रेंड को बोला कि चलो मैं आपको छोड़ देता हूँ। नीचे जो है फ्रेंड के साथ में आए। वाइफ इतना गुस्सा थी और सॉक्रेट तो कुछ रिप्लाई नहीं कर रहे थे, तो उसका गुस्सा बढ़ता जा रहा था। तो ऊपर से वो बकेट लेती है पानी का और दोनों के ऊपर फेंक देती है। तो जो सॉक्रेट के दोस्त थे उन्होंने सोचा बाप रे कैसी पत्नी है। तो उनको लगा सॉक्रेट अब तो कुछ बोलेंगे, पानी फेंक दिया ऊपर से। तो सॉक्रेट तुरंत बोलते हैं, आफ्टर स्टॉर्म कम्स द रेन। लेकिन बिल्कुल डिस्टर्ब नहीं होती है। Why? Because that is the nature of the material world. If you become disturbed, there are so many things will keep you disturbed. If you want to be disturbed, then you will remain disturbed. But if you learn the principles of Tam Tikiksha Bharataha, you will be least disturbed. Because you are soul and nothing is in your control. Who is in the control? Krishna is in the control. Right. So we can do our best, and beyond that, we have to learn the principle of tolerance. This is very important. If not, then we get too much affected by Dhanatar. Too much affected by Dhanatar. Small things will disturb us, small things will distract us. So Dhanataral means the distraction or disturbance which comes because of the dual aspect of the material world. So disturbance will come because of the dual aspect, and this disturbance will create Dhanataral. And distraction comes because of Visesh Sankara, where the material things they attract us. So if you become disturbed and distracted, then we get affected by Dhanataral or Visheshvara. So devotees should not become disturbed, knowing well that things are not much in our control. I remember when we were traveling in a car from Varanasi to Kanpur, that time car was traveling at 130 kilometers per hour. And when the tire broke, one of the tire, back tire, cut, like that first sound came and then vehicle started rotating like this. So that time I felt now time has come. I just closed my eyes. I was chanting कि अभी चले जाते हैं. But गाड़ी जो है उल्टा करके ऐसे रुक गई. And then devotees, one of the devotee tells me, प्रभु उतरो उतरो उतरो. फिर मैंने देखा अरे जिंदा है. Then I thought if I am alive, then everything should be there. It should not happen that one part of the body is missing. And I started checking my whole body, it was there. But I could see, maybe by mercy of the Lord, I was not so disturbed in that situation. Otherwise, you see a non-devotee, if he meets a situation like this, how much a disturbance will bring to him? Is it not? How much people's existence comes to threat? I will find for people. Now there are many cases happening where somehow other people in America or Canada, because of some kind of recession coming there, they are leaving their jobs, and after staying 7 years, 10 years, they are coming back to India. Now, because of staying for so long in such facilities in America and Canada, for them it is becoming a hard struggle to adjust in India. And they are, crying, what is this? Why I'm in India? Why I can't go back to Canada or America? Like that. So you see so much disturbance it brings, the dual aspect. Isn't the term it says, based on the basis of karma, kabu uthaye, kabu dubai. Sometimes you'll get a lot of success, you become a king, and sometimes you become a pauper. And if you identify with any of these situations, you will suffer. If you identify yourself being a king, then you will suffer because you want control. And not everyone will come under your control. Hiranyakashipu, his own son was not ready to come under his control. And if you become a pauper, then he'll have expectation from others. They do. Not everyone will give. Then also he'll be unhappy. आपने देखा कई बार बैगर्स को पीछे भागते रहते हैं, दे दिए, और वो चलता रहता है, फिर भागते दे दीजिए, दे दीजिए, दे दीजिए, और कुछ बैगर तो बाद में गाली देने लग जाते हैं, करेक्ट? क्या है, आ जाते हैं, दान नहीं देते हैं, क्या कृपा मिलेगा? मंदिर में दर्शन करने से भगवान थोड़ी ना मिलते हैं, दान नहीं देते हैं. You see, both are frustrated. One is frustrated to have expectation of control. One is frustrated to have expectation of money. Like that. So that's why Krishna is telling and teaching this beautiful principle that when it comes to duality, we should remember agama apaino anitya. It will come and it will surely go because it is temporary. And what I am supposed to do? Tantatiksha bharata. Just tolerate for some time. You might have seen there were times where we got some very severe disease. And at time of disease, you feel so unhappy. क्या होगा, कब ठीक होऊंगा मैं? Correct? But just tolerate. After 10 days, few injections, few medicines, few care, you come back to your healthy life. Isn't it? So one should not become too disturbed by a situation. So this is one principle which is in relation to Ghanatara. And this is another principle in relation to Vishay Sangaraha. So here it is mentioned. So here it is mentioned that one should practice meditation by constantly seeing oneself. By constantly seeing oneself to be an eternal cognizant spirit soul, and seeing the soul to be the absolute controller of everything. To increase one's meditation, one should live in a secluded place and give up false attachment to one's home and household paraphernalia. Giving up decorations of the temporary material body, one should dress himself with scraps of cloth found in rejected places or with the bark of trees. In this way, one should learn to be satisfied in any material situation. So, in relation to Ghanataral, the principle of tolerance, so devotee, the duality of the material world he tolerates, and as far as his bhakti is concerned, as far as his spirituality is concerned, there he remains committed, he remains consistent. We see beautifully in the life of Srila Prabhupada what not Srila Prabhupada went through. He tried business, tried his best to have a business, and he had a spiritual thought process. He was thinking, if I earn more from my business, then I will give a lot of money to my spiritual master to print books. Because he thought in that way I can assist my guru in printing books, which was his desire. But then it was not working. But you see, no matter what was happening to Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada was, but he never gave up his bhakti. In Allahabad, we see the cold winter also, he is taking early morning bath, attending morning program. Wherever he would go, Srila Prabhupada would personally cook himself, offer to Lord and eat. Wherever he would go, he was chanting his holy names to the Lord. Then we see when Srila Prabhupada's family is not supporting him, family, although Srila Prabhupada tried his best to engage his family also in the mission of the spiritual master. But then can you imagine a wife acting in that way, children are acting in that way? But then it never affected Srila Prabhupada, it never disturbed Srila Prabhupada. He took sannyas, no, no one from his god brother is coming forward to help him. Then Srila Prabhupada was not disturbed. He's trying somehow or other to preach, going to Delhi, printing, not having money, distributing papers, not getting support. No one is coming forward. And like that, how many years went? In which year Srila Prabhupada took sannyas? 1955. And which year he went to US? 1965. Almost 10 years he struggled with no result, zero result. Just imagine if we are asked to preach in some place and for 10 years you get a zero result, not a single person becomes a devotee. How you will feel? प्रभु जी दूसरा कॉलेज तो इसमें हमें प्रीचिंग नहीं कर रहे हैं, ट्रिपल आईटी लखनऊ बड़ा खतरनाक कॉलेज. Correct, Ankur? So difficult for us if result is not coming. 10 years Prabhupada struggled. He tried in Jhansi, they told after 2 years of struggle, they told Swamiji, we can't give you place. One or two boys were interested also, their parents, they told, no, don't go with Swami. So then Prabhupada was again alone. He went alone to Jhansi, came along from Jhansi without any resources, without money, without any manpower. In Agra, he tried preaching. Some people became interested. They wanted to take rickshaw from Prabhupada. But then the disciple of another guru told in this ashram, our guru only can give rickshaw. Prabhupada, without telling anyone, just left the place. Delhi, he so much tried, but then no one was becoming serious and interested. And then we find that how Srila Prabhupada got opportunity from Japan. And Prabhupada told, please arrange a flight ticket. I want to come to Japan. They said, no, Swamiji, ticket you have. And Prabhupada then lost the opportunity to go to Japan also. Finally, we see in the Jalduta, he's going and being in America, he does not know where to go. Mishra is not supporting, Mishra is having an impersonal presentation. Then Prabhupada thought, David, he the first boy will become a devotee, but then he took some drugs and he became mad overnight and he threw Srila Prabhupada out. Prabhupada was on the street. Finally, he got a place, he went to Michael. And like that, we see so much struggle. But whatever it is, you find Srila Prabhupada getting up early in the morning, translating his books, chanting his round, that is the thing. Even after starting ISKCON, so much struggle, we can't imagine what all struggles Srila Prabhupada went through. Because all his disciples, American disciples, it was not very easy to make them practice devotional service. Prabhupada had to face a lot of challenges. Then we see Prabhupada, whether he is in America, whether he is in London, whichever place he is in, getting up early in the morning, translating his books, chanting his rounds, giving Srimad Bhagavatam class, taking meetings, having preaching programs. That was his life. And that is how a devotee is. No matter what material duality comes, his spiritual consistency is never affected. And that is the sign of his commitment to Krishna. That is the sign of seriousness on the part of a devotee. That is the sign that now bhakti is manifesting in his heart, because bhakti's nature is aprihata ahituki. So ahituki is in relation to Vishaya and aprihata is in relation to Ghanatara. Bhakti, the very nature of the bhakti is it is uninterrupted. And how it can be affected by Ghanatara? Very nature of the bhakti is ahituki, it is done without any material cause, without any material benefit. So how a devotee can get attracted or can have a desire by practicing bhakti for anything material? So the more bhakti manifests in our heart, then that much we will see that the duality of the material world will not affect. More we are trying to commit to bhakti, then we will see the duality of the material world will not affect. Can you imagine Sanatana Goswami at that old age also? He would do daily Govardhan Parikrama. And not the shorter one, he would do the bigger Govardhan Parikrama, which comes around 42 kilometers every day. 42 kilometers of Bhajan Kriya. Sometimes we do once and then we think that now for next 2 years I will not do it. Right? Because it is not easy. But then he would do every day. And when he became old and he was trying to do, he was falling. And that time we see that how Krishna personally comes and he says, Baba, Buddha, hello, you have become old. So please give up this idea to do Govardhan Parikrama. Now it's not required, you are already liberated. He says, no, 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 this is my devotional service to Krishna. This is my commitment to Krishna. I can't leave doing Govardhan Parikrama. So can you imagine that Krishna thought, how to help him now? And finally, we see Krishna goes at a distance and then manifests himself as Krishna. And then gives a small golden shila to Sanatana Krishna and tells him that please, now you don't have to do this golden parikrama. You take this golden shila and just move around 7 times, and that is equivalent to do golden parikrama. Similarly, we see Haridas Thakur when he was old. And that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming and saying that please don't chant now 192 rounds. You can reduce your round. And he's saying, no, no, Mahaprabhu, please don't give this instruction to me. Just imagine if you are very ill and if Krishna comes and he says, don't chant 16 rounds. Oh, thank you, thank you. I was just thinking only, but very nice. Okay. Correct. That means we don't have much bhakti. We have more absorption in material things. So we see that very nature of bhakti that one will remain consistent in his practices. One of the tangible sign at level of a sadhaka about commitment in bhakti is his consistency in bhakti. That's why you see in ISKCON also we see in terms of कितने सालों से 16 माला कर रहा है, कितने सालों से 4 नियम पालन कर रहा है, कितने सालों से consistently devotion service कर रहा है. Because this consistency in devotion service is a sign of commitment at level of sadhaka and is a sign of seriousness in bhakti at level of sadhaka. That's why we have these kind of rules that if you want diksha, then you have to chant for last 2 years, 3 years. So that shows your commitment. In our case, you have to know that material duality we cannot stop, but we can stop being disturbed by the material duality by taking shelter of Krishna. And we use our duality also to come closer to Krishna. When happiness comes, we increase our service. When distress comes, we increase our sharana. In that way. So that was in relation to Dhanatan. Second, in relation to Visa Sangrah, material attractions is, Shastras they say that for material situation, one should learn the principle of satisfaction. For the duality, one should learn the principle of tolerance. And for the sense objects, for material things, for material facilities, material resources, one should learn the principle of satisfaction. And see, both are important principles. Sometimes we may feel, क्या प्रभु जी, क्या हम बड़ा नहीं सोच सकते हैं, क्या हम ज्यादा फैसिलिटी नहीं ले सकते हैं, क्या ज्यादा धन नहीं ले सकते हैं, क्या ले सकते हैं, लेकिन उससे आपका सुख नहीं बढ़ेगा, दुख और बढ़ता है. तो ये जो प्रिंसिपल हैं, ये हमारे को बचाने के लिए बताए. अगर कोई बहुत ज्यादा डुअलिटी से अफेक्ट हो जाता है तो क्या फायदा होगा उसको, और डिस्टर्ब रहेगा और बीमार होगा. अभी so many diseases are increasing and one of the reason is mental depression, mental disturbance, mental illness. And why? Because they are trying to change the duality. Why? Because they are finding it difficult to accept the duality. But then a devotee is not disturbed. Devotee knows that I have to tolerate, that is in my hand. And in relation to material things, devotee learn the principle of satisfaction. So what Shastra says is, by doing your optimum effort, whatever comes, that is your quota, and learn the principle of satisfaction. And we all can see in our life, it's not that by working for more hours, by putting more efforts, we get much more. No. As per our karma, we get. Same people by working 8 hours are getting, billions. Some people by working same 8 hours are getting only millions, and some are earning only thousands. So we have to do our quota, and after that, whatever comes, we have to learn the principle of satisfaction. That whatever has come, this is the mercy of the Lord, and let me engage this in the service of the Lord. If not, then there is no limit to hankering. If not, you keep increasing resources, you keep increasing material things, and they will keep increasing your hankering. They will keep increasing your desire to have more. Right? Here he is saying that how one should give up the decorations of the material body. One should dress himself with the scraps of cloth found in rejected places. Somebody who is a very serious about the spiritual life, he is saying he should not think of decorating the body with nice, luxurious clothes or nice paraphernalia. He should wear simple things. Either he gets some clothes at rejected places or he can wear bark of trees. At least in our case, uh, we don't have to be so detached also because we are a preaching movement. The purpose is to dress before headdress. But then we have to know that in relation to material things, we have to learn the principle of satisfaction. And we are very fortunate, no matter wherever we are, whatever we are. But then Krishna has arranged nice things for us. Wherever we go, we get nice place to stay. Wherever we go, we get nice prasad to eat. What more do you want? And then one has to learn the principle of satisfaction, whatever Krishna arranges. If you don't learn this, then what happens? Material volume remains. And then what happens? Spiritual volume cannot be cultivated. Then what will happen is material volume will remain and will keep increasing that material volume. Wish if I had this, wish if I had this, if I can get this, if I can get that. Like that. And how unfortunate it is that for material things, there is so much competition in the material world. Everyone wants ये मुझे चाहिए, ये मुझे चाहिए. Right? Sometimes you see when we go on parikrama and if you throw some bananas, how many monkeys come? Right? Everyone jumps on the bananas. Right? That is how the material world is. Suppose if suddenly in between some from some place on the top, some gold coins they start coming down. How many people will come? And what level of fight and things will take place? All right. So much competition in relation to material attractions, material things. But we see in relation to spiritual things, there is no competition. If you chant more, no one will say, "Prabhuji, आप ज्यादा क्यों कर रहे हो? मुझसे ज्यादा मत करो." They will say, "ठीक है प्रभुजी, ठीक है." Right? Spiritually, there is no competition. You can chant more, read more, hear more. रोटी ये नहीं बोलेंगे प्रभु जी आप इतना ज्यादा क्यों कर रहे हैं बट यू सी मटेरियल थिंग्स देयर इज कंपटीशन and there is no end to material hankering. So one has to learn the principle of satisfaction that whatever is provided, then he does. There is a famous story that we have heard that how Guru, when he goes, he tells the disciple that please take care, and because you are alone, and soon I will come. And this disciple was so renowned, he had only one copy. Then we see, but then he saw that when he's trying to chant, a rat is coming and it's tearing his coping. Then he thought that a rat is coming, my sadhana is getting disturbed. If I bring cat will take care of the rat. And then I can do chanting very interesting. And cat came. Then after some time, the cat started saying meow, not meow, Yogi will breathe. So then he thought, "Arey, what happened to cat? She's hungry. Now for cat, milk is required." Then he thought, "Oh, I can bring a cow. Cow will give milk. Milk will be taken by the cat, and then cat will take care of that, and I will chant." Then, but now cow came, but then he understood, "Arey, we have to take cow for grazing. We have to provide so many things to the cow. We have to take care of the cow. We have to milk the cow. So much time is going in taking care of the cow only. And then the time which I had for practicing spirituality is reducing." When someone told me, "You bring one wife, she will take care of the cow. Cow will give milk, that will be taken care by that will be taken by cat, and cat will take care of the rat." And he just said, and I thought, very good idea. Then wife came. And then feedback went. And Guru came and Guru was surprised, ये क्या हो गया, ब्रह्मचारी आश्रम था गृहस्थ आश्रम बन गया. This is how the tendency of the mind is. You see people they say ना, पहले लैपटॉप लेंगे, फिर उसको गर्म नहीं लग रही है तो नीचे से उसके हीटिंग का फैन लेंगे, फिर वहां से स्क्रैच ना है तो उसमें एक पिन लगाएंगे, कीबोर्ड में कुछ ना हो तो इसमें एक कवर लगाएंगे. कितना कुछ करते हैं. फिर इसको ट्रैवलिंग के समय के लिए अलग से एक बैग खरीदेंगे. वैसे मोबाइल है उसका मोबाइल गार्ड लगाएंगे, फिर पावर बैंक खरीदेंगे, मोबाइल को चार्ज करे, चार्ज रखे, इतना कुछ करते हैं. एंड देयर इज नो एंड. ऐसे माइंड क्या है, बोलता रहेगा, थोड़ा ये हो जाएगा अच्छा, थोड़ा ये हो जाएगा. लेकिन एक लिमिट के बाद में ये सब नहीं करना चाहिए, इसका कुछ वो नहीं है. देखिए आप कोई भी लैपटॉप लीजिए, वो 6-7 साल से ज्यादा चलता ही नहीं, बनाया ही ऐसा होता है. तो आप उसमें कितना भी प्रोटेक्शन कीजिए, वो 6-7 साल ही चलेगा, उसके बाद वो वैसे ही आपको देना पड़ेगा. करेक्ट ना. लेकिन माइंड का एक नेचर ऐसा रहता है, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे. अब देखिए लोग जो बाइक वाइक खरीदते हैं उसको कवर लगाएंगे, क्या क्या करते हैं, वो चलेगी उतने साल. अब देखिए हम लोग कहीं कवर नहीं लगाते, कुछ नहीं लगाते, उतना ही चलता है लैपटॉप, उसके बाद में उसको आप जो है बहुत बेकार. But point is, we should not get too affected by the demands of the mind like this, attractions of the mind to material things. Because there is no end. The mind will keep giving you options, keep giving you that, this if you get, that is better. This if you get, this is better. This if you get, then that is better. And sometimes for a devotee, mind may give such attractions, giving a devotional justification. If you have a Kindle, while traveling also you can read how good it is. Is it not? What is problem in taking one book? No problem. But it is just a mental thing. अभी क्या मोबाइल को भी चार्ज करो, लैपटॉप को भी चार्ज करो, पेंडिंग को भी चार्ज करो. और आजकल कईयों के चार्जर भी अलग अलग होते हैं, उसका पूरा चेतना चार्जर हैंडल करने में चला जाता है. तो वो ट्रेन में ढूंढेगा किंडल को चार्ज करने का स्थान कहाँ है, पढ़ नहीं पाएगा. किंडल को ट्रेन में चार्ज करेगा और चार्ज किंडल होगा तब तक वो दूसरी जगह पहुंच जाएगा. फिर वो किंडल रखा रहेगा डिस्चार्ज होने के लिए, तो जब वापस ट्रेवल करेगा फिर चार्ज करेगा. How many of you have seen we take many facilities like this on the name of Krishna consciousness, but we don't use? Correct? That is the nature of this mind. So we should know, we should not get too affected, because unnecessarily so much time and energy will go. Like for us, our brahmacharya life is very simple. We have only few pairs of dhoti kurta and same color. We don't have to think so much. You take bath, one color only is there, just take it, wear, and few pairs, single dhoti kurta. Anywhere you have to travel, it does not take much time. You have to keep 2 towels, keep dhoti kurtas, and you can just start. Sometime, but if a devotee has that kind of a nature to get affected by the mind, कई devotees आप देखेंगे वो करते हैं ट्रैवलिंग में, तो ये इलेक्ट्रिक केटल भी ले लेते हैं, वहाँ पानी गर्म नहीं हुआ तो फिर कुछ मेडिसिन भी ले लेते हैं, वहाँ ये हो गया तो ये भी ले लेते हैं, वहाँ सर्दी लगी तो ऐसा करके उनका लगेज इतना हो जाता है. और कई लोग इतना बड़ा बड़ा बैग लेके ट्रेवल करते हैं कि ऑटो में भी नहीं घुसता है. लेकिन इतना जरूरत नहीं पड़ता है चीजों का, अगर लॉर्ड में थोड़ा डिपेंडेंसी रहेगा तो. In relation to material things, Shastra says, work less, whatever your optimum effort is, and then by that, whatever comes, you learn the principle of satisfaction. Don't get affected by having too much. Here, the purport. In any case, one should learn to be satisfied in any material situation so as to prepare for the moment of death. According to Bhagavad Gita, at time of death, the particular consciousness we have created in this life will carry us to our future situation. Therefore, human life can be seen as a type of practice for successfully fixing one's mind on the absolute truth during the severe trials of death. So one has to learn the principle of satisfaction so that he can prepare himself for the moment of departure, at time of death. Like this. So if we learn this principle of satisfaction in relation to material things, then we will not get affected by Vishaya Sankara. If we don't learn this principle of satisfaction from material things, then we get affected by Vishaya Sankara. And there is no end to this. It will keep on increasing, keep on increasing. And the vital time, energy which we should engage in Krishna's service will go in the pursuit to have them and then to maintain them. So that is why devotee he learns the principle of satisfaction in relation to material things and try to increase his time for Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue about Vishaya Sangra next class. If somebody has question, they can ask now.